Today, I'm at the City Hall of Clarington, and I'm going to have the privilege to meet the mayor. We're going to learn from him firsthand what's happening in Bowmanville and Clarington, how the property values would appreciate here, the jobs that are coming up, what kind of potential this town has. Let's hear firsthand from Mayor Foster. Mayor Foster, thank you for having us here today.
Hey, it's delighted to have you out here in Clarington.
Thank you so much. I know you have a busy schedule. You took the time out. We know there are a lot of positive things coming in Bowmanville, and not just Bowmanville in general, in Clarington. We wanted to hear firsthand from you, especially about the Ontario Power Generation Plan, OPG, that's getting refurbished. I wanted to know a little bit more story behind it. Why is it being refurbished? And how much service does it do to Bowmanville or to Toronto itself?
So that's a big story. The project is a $12.8 billion project.
Wow.
So
wow.
There's a lot involved. It'll take about 10 years. We're well into that project now. If you think about rebuilding a car's engine, that's what they're doing with the reactors at Darlington. They're taking the guts of the reactor, rebuilding them. That station, when it's all done, will operate for another 30 or 35 years.
Wow, that's amazing. And how much service does it provide to Bowmanville, to Clarington?
So Darlington will provide about 20% of Ontario's electricity.
Wow, that's huge.
So it's a massive piece of the power. So someone in Toronto, when they're turning their lights on,
it's coming from Darlington.
Toronto, Wawa, you pick it.
Wow.
In Ontario.
That's amazing. So it's much needed plant.
Oh, it is, absolutely. So if you're looking at carbon footprint, and the Ontario system is very low in carbon, so there is no carbon that comes off of that plant.
Yeah, and people talk about having a power generation plant that affects the neighborhood negatively, radioactive waves that are in the area. How much truth there is behind that?
Yeah, it's not an issue, truthfully. So we obviously, as does the province, the federal government, and OPG, keep a very close eye on health impacts in the areas around power plants.
Right.
And if you look at the science, not what you read on the internet, if you look at the science, it's simply not an issue.
Really? Okay, so that's from the Ontario Power Generation Plan, and obviously once that is up and running, I think it's already functional.
So it's running. We've got 4 reactors. 3 reactors run while they work on one, so the one is well underway now, but the other 3, because the province needs power, we couldn't afford to shut down that entire station.
Right. And does that translate into jobs? Does that bring jobs into?
Yeah, we've got literally thousands of people coming every day to the plant to work on the refurb, including all kinds of engineers, people that are designing tools.
Right.
It is a huge deal. It's a big deal, and it's really driving the local economy right now.
Amazing. So speaking of jobs, Toyota distribution facility is coming here as well. Number one question from me is, how did you score that?
So our Board of Trade was amazing. They do our economic development. Our theory on economic development is business is better at selling business than government will ever be. So that's a relationship we've had for a number of years. Our staff as well as Toyota. So we were not the top of the list.
Right.
Toyota had their list as to where they wanted to go, but as they got to know us, as our staff and the Board of Trade worked with them, the choice was to build their distribution center, and this is for Eastern Canada. Toyota's idea of Eastern Canada.
That's the whole of Eastern Canada.
Well, it's Manitoba
east.
So it is the eastern half of Canada. So if you need a Toyota part, it'll be coming from that warehouse.
That's amazing, and that translates also into jobs, if I'm not wrong.
150 now, and I think we're expecting on another phase, another 150 coming with that.
That's amazing. And again, speaking of jobs, so the expansion of the hospital is happening.
So we're waiting for the progress reports on that. The province hasn't said yes, go ahead, but we're getting really positive indications. We will about be doubling the size of the Bowmanville Hospital, and a local hospital is really, really important for any community.
Right.
And the job creation. So hospitals hire a lot of people. So doubling the size of that.
Doubling the size of that. So that means if any areas are getting an expansion in the hospital, does that mean there's a population growth here as well because of that reason? Or how does population growth affect Bowmanville, or in the coming future, Clarington will get a lot of population, I understand.
So we've seen a lot of growth in the last couple of years because of the stuff that's going on. It works both ways, and one is because of the growth, we need that hospital expanded. On the other hand, with the hospital expanding, we will see increased growth because, again, the economic impact of the hospital, the stuff that they buy, the people that they have, doctors in town. When you move to a town, you want to make sure that there are enough doctors in town.
Right.
It's just so important. So it works both ways.
Excellent. And so, in terms of Bowmanville itself, it's getting a lot of population growth and whatnot. How's that positively affecting in terms of the taxes, in terms of the city itself getting the growth? Does that mean the taxes go up? Is there more people moving into Bowmanville or Clarington?
So Clarington has one of the lowest levels of property taxes in the GTA. We're really proud of that. We keep it under control. We don't get a lot of help with new houses coming to town because people want all the services that the existing people get. The real joy of businesses coming to town are having local jobs. So businesses bring jobs. You don't need to commute in a huge distance. That job, it's the buzz that you get that keep our historic downtowns going.
Right.
If you're looking at downtown Bowmanville, if we're looking at Newcastle, Orono, it's maintaining that heritage.
Right.
So it's the buzz around all of that we're really interested in, and quality of life.
Right. And so along with that, because we were talking about all the jobs and all the people, population growth, there's GO train access coming in. There's GO already in Clarington or in Bowmanville, but there's actual GO train coming in. How positive is that, or how much truth behind that is?
So that's a huge story for us. Right now, the GO train stops in Oshawa. The province has promised. Now they're reviewing the promise and they're reviewing the route. But they have promised to bring the GO train to Bowmanville by 2024. Again, we've got to see where all of that lands.
Right.
I think they're looking at a couple things that could be a little bit quicker, but we've got to see. We did our own studies. There'd be 4 additional stops, 2 in Oshawa, 2 in Clarington. That would be $1.1 billion in private investment and 21,000 permanent jobs.
Wow.
And again, we talk about quality of life, so now instead of driving to Oshawa, which isn't a long drive, but parking's an issue, you just jump on the GO train right here and head into downtown Toronto.
Amazing. And 407's already here?
407's here. It's not completed yet. It will, within a year, be out at 35-115, but you can almost make it all the way to Bowmanville on the 407. So you get off just west of Bowmanville.
Right.
Country skiing.
So live, play, work.
It's an amazing community, and it's all close. It's all close.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for having us here today, and it's a pleasure meeting you again.
It is my pleasure. Thanks for doing this.
Thank you.
Thank you for doing this.